What's up, guys? Got another UFC video here today. It's going to be on the UFC 199 fight card, Rockhold versus Bisping 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be a video on the main card. I've already done the picks and predictions and some analysis on the Fox Sports 1 prelims and the Fight Pass prelim fight, so you guys can check those videos out. So this video is all about the main card. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Like I said, it's going to be a prediction slash picks slash analysis on these fights. So start with the first fight. We got Dustin Poirier against Bobby Green. So both these fighters, ranked top 15 in the lightweight division, which is, pretty good, obviously, because the lightweight division is stacked. So let's go ahead and start with Poirier here. I'm loading up the pages right now, so you guys can get some info on them real quick. Alright, so here's Dustin Poirier. Summary: fighting, verbally, physically, mentally. 27 years old. Let's see. So as you can see, this guy's on a 3-fight win streak. His last loss was to Conor McGregor, where he got clipped with a good punch, like I think it was like to the back of the ear, back of the head area. McGregor knocked him out pretty much. But that was at 145. Since then, he's now jumped up a weight class to 155, which seems to be a really good move for him. I mean, he was a big guy, 5'9", so more of a natural weight class, and he's looked really good since then. As you can see right here, 3 fights in the 155 division. He's won all 3 fights. First fight was against Diego Ferreira, which he knocked him out in the first round. Next fight was against Yancy Medeiros, who's a tough guy, has a good chin, and he was able to knock him out also in the first round. And then the other fight, his last fight, against Joe Duffy, who's a really good striker, good boxer, good kickboxing also, and has a decent ground game. And he was able to take him out, pretty much neutralizing his ground game by just using takedowns and just kind of beating him up on the ground and whatnot with ground and pound. But yeah, he's been looking really good since that Conor McGregor loss, and pretty much I think Conor McGregor got in his head, and he wasn't able to perform that good because of that. Also, because of that big weight cut, the fluid from the brain and whatnot. So, like pretty much his chin isn't as good at 145 than it is compared to 155. He's much more hydrated and more durable at 155. So, plus McGregor does have power anyway. So that's kind of normal sometimes, just to get knocked out by a guy like McGregor. That guy has a lot of power. But yeah, he's been looking good at 155. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at Bobby Green now. So Bobby Green's been out for a while though. Summary: slams, well-rounded, finisher. So we look at his last fight. He's coming off a loss, and this was in November of 2014, late 2014 right here, against Edson Barboza, coming off that loss, like I said. And yeah, he lost to Barboza. Barboza's a badass striker. Pretty much I was watching the fight. Pretty much Barboza was using good movement, throwing good kicks, also good punches and whatnot. And in the second round, he was actually able to hurt Bobby Green from what it looked like anyway. Hurt him with some punches, then did like a spinning back kick and looked like it hit him in the head and whatnot. Looked like he was a little hurt after that. But yeah, it was a unanimous decision for Barboza, and yeah, I think Barboza won the fight pretty much, just being a little bit more active with the striking. And yeah, but before that, this guy was on a 3-fight win streak, actually he was on a long win streak. Okay, a really long win streak here. But his last win was against Josh Thompson, who's a good lightweight fighter. I think he was rated at top 5 or for sure top 10, when he fought him. And anyways, he got a split decision win on him, and a lot of people thought Thompson won the fight, and you know how that goes. It goes back and forth. Before that, he beat Pat Healy. He's a decent fighter, but nothing super good. He's not a super well-rounded fighter. And he beat James Krause, another one of those guys not really in the top 15. So his top win here is pretty much Josh Thompson, and that's a split decision win. So you got to think about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the fight though. So pretty much Bobby Green has great boxing, good footwork, good movement, defensive movement, good head movement, like I'm saying. And as you can see, based on his grappling stats here, also has some good takedown defense. Dustin Poirier here, good multi-striking, also some good hands, throws a lot of volume. Also, in his last fight against Joe Duffy, he's shown he has a good takedown game, landing 4 takedowns on Duffy. And I'm not sure if Duffy had super good takedown defense before that, but you know, either way, he was able to land takedowns. And you know, Poirier here, not really known as a takedown artist or anything like that. Mostly relies on his striking and also some submissions. So yeah, guys, on how this fight is gonna go, I think it's gonna be obviously staying on the feet. I think both of them are going to be on the feet. If Poirier gets hurt or feels like Bobby Green's doing a little bit better, he might attempt a takedown. I don't really see Green attempting a takedown on Poirier, but you never know. I think it's mostly going to be on the feet, though. Pretty much just exchanging punches and kicks. Poirier, I would say, has the better kicks. Bobby Green here has the better hands, so it's going to be kind of some clash of styles there, kind of ish. But I do think Poirier, with his takedown game, you know, he'll be able to employ that a lot better than Bobby Green and his takedowns. Now, based on just looking at the paper here, I mean, almost 82% takedown defense for Bobby Green. That's pretty good. But I mean, Poirier looks like he's getting really strong here at 155. He looks like he has that muscle and whatnot now. Like I said, he looked really good against Joe Duffy, landed takedowns and whatnot, taking him down. Pretty much just overall improving his game and whatnot. Not just being a striker, but also using takedowns. So yeah, I think Poirier here being a well-rounded fighter and getting that good win against Duffy. And also Duffy is not super similar to Bobby Green, but he does have good boxing, just like Bobby Green. So, and I would say maybe even better boxing. I like Joe Duffy's style of boxing because he throws at weird angles, throws those uppercuts and those right hands. And yeah, I mean, I actually think Joe Duffy would probably beat up Bobby Green also. So yeah, I think Duffy's a better striker, but I think his takedown defense is not as good as Bobby Green. But yeah, I don't want to do the MMA math thing, but I do think Poirier here will get the win, guys. So I'm picking Dustin Poirier, and Bobby Green's a tough guy. Seems like he's a hard guy to finish. So I don't know if Poirier here will get a finish, but you never know. Could hurt him with a punch. But you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say Dustin by decision, guys. So Dustin Poirier here by decision. All right. Next fight, we got Hendo against Hector Lombard. So obviously Dan Henderson here, getting a little older now. I think he's 45 years old now. Let's go ahead and open up the pages here so you guys can check some info on him. And I think Hendo's coming off a loss. Yeah. Lost against Vitor Belfort. That was the second Vitor, or maybe it was the third Vitor Belfort fight. Yeah, I think it's the third Vitor Belfort fight. Anyways, he got knocked out in the first round. Pretty much got head kicked again and got finished on the ground. But before that, he was coming off a first round knockout against M.O.E. But I mean, if anybody gets hit with that right hand, I mean, more than likely you're gonna get knocked out. I mean, Hendo's getting old, but he still packs a shit ton of power, and you know, it's not just in one hand, it's in both hands pretty much. But that right hand is just, you know, it's that H-bomb, you know, you gotta watch out for that. But as you can see, this guy's really not been doing so good lately, just based on these last fights. Out of, I don't know how much fight that is, out of a shit ton of fights from 2013 all the way to 2015, right, late 2015. He's only had 2 wins, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and count the losses here for you guys. That looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's had 6 losses. So 6 out of his 8 are losses. He's had 2 wins out of 8 fights, pretty much. So that's not too good there. But he does have finishing power, though, guys, and that's something you guys got to worry about, or that's something that Hector Lombard has to worry about. But you know, that's something to take note of, pretty much. Still has that power, still can knock you out. Has wrestling, but I mean, if you look at his recent fights, this guy's wrestling is pretty much non-existent. Yeah, doesn't really use his wrestling, so we don't even gotta worry about that wrestling. I don't think he's gonna use it against Lombard here. Let's go ahead and look at Lombard's page summary: judo, power, experience. This guy's also not really a young fighter either. I mean, I didn't think he was that old, but he is 38 years old. Coming off a loss to Neil Magny, who just straight battered him in that second round, and then finished him in the third round, as you guys can. Pretty much Lombard comes out really strong in the first round, really explosive. He was able to actually hurt Magny in that first round, Magny was able to survive being a tough fighter. Now, could Hendo survive that? I don't know. I mean, it's, it seems like Hendo's chin isn't too good anymore. But look at the guys he's fighting. He's fighting Belfort, super explosive. Mousasi, you know what? Mousasi won. He just got, hit pretty cleanly. So I guess can't take too much out of that. And then Belfort again. So he's been knocked out 3 times from what I see here. The second Belfort fight in the UFC, that was a while back already. But recently it's been against Mousasi and then again Belfort. So 2 recent knockouts, in 2015. I mean, I think he's recovered by now. It's been a while already. It's been a couple months, like 7, 8 months. So I think he's recovered now from from the trauma and whatnot. But Hendo's chin isn't the same pretty much. But Lombard, I mean, I think that was his first time getting finished. Yeah, that was his first time getting finished, and that was by Neil Magny, and that was just pretty much due to him gassing and all that volume pretty much. Now, Hendo's not a volume striker. This guy, he just throws 1 or 2 punches. You can see his significant strike time per minute is very low. Pretty much, it's that 1 punch knockout power type of stuff. He doesn't throw a lot of volume, so Hector doesn't have to worry about that. He just has to worry about not getting, hit with that clean punch. But anyways, yeah, Lombard here got battered, and yeah, I mean, but he starts off strong, guys. So the way I see this fight, I think it's a good style matchup. I mean, both of them have the judo. Well, not both of them, but one of them has wrestling, one of them has judo. Lombard seems like he really doesn't use his judo too much. Does have some takedowns though, so he uses his judo more than Hendo uses his wrestling. That's for sure. But I don't know if Hector's gonna want to take to the ground. I think he's just gonna try to stand and bang maybe a little bit. And once he gets a right hand, I think he changes his mind. But I mean, you never know if that right hand might knock him out right there, right? Striking defense. Lombard's a little bit less, also absorbs more damage. So I mean, yeah, this fight's a lot closer than I think people think, because of the matchup here. You know what, guys? I'm gonna go ahead and go with the underdog here. I'm picking Hendo. I just think this guy can land another right hand here. I mean, Lombard has been finishing his last fight. Who knows how much has he recovered since then? That was not too long ago, guys. Look at that. That was in March. It's only been 3 months, or probably a little bit less than 3 months. So, he hasn't fully recovered yet, I think. Hendo, if he lands that right hand, it's going to be over. Yeah, I mean, Lombard's explosive. I mean, could he put away Hendo in the first round? I mean, probably could. But, you know what? I think Hendo will, be able to counter with his own power and maybe get the respect of Lombard. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pick Hendo, and I think he's going to get this done. If not the first round, it's going to be second round knockout, guys. Or who knows? This might be end up going to decision, maybe, if they can't finish each other off, You never know with that. But I'm just going to go ahead and say Hendo by second round knockout. Alright, so we go on to the next fight. Holloway against Lamas. Holloway's on a long-ass win streak. And Lamas is coming off a win against Diego Sanchez. The fight happened not too long ago. Anyways, here's Holloway's page. So his last win was against Jeremy Stephens. Yeah, did good in that fight. Before that, he had a knockout win against against Charles Oliveira. But I think that was like a weird injury type of thing. And then he beat Swanson, which was a good win for him right there. Was able to tap him out. But yes, you can see this guy's a finisher. Shit ton of finishes on his record. But he's on a long win streak. Now we look at Lamas' page here. Coming off a win against Diego Sanchez. Now a lot of people are picking Lamas obviously against Diego Sanchez. First time Diego cut to 145, he just looked way too skinny and whatnot. Didn't really have any muscle on him and whatnot. Just looked too light. Anyways, he was able to beat him up. But before that, he got knocked out by Chad Mendes, and obviously Chad Mendes packs a punch. But yeah, that was a first round knockout. And that happened a year ago pretty much. So he's recovered by then. By now I mean. But yeah, guys, we got pretty much a good striker with some good submissions and some takedown defense against a wrestler here with some decent striking. He also has some good submissions. So obviously I'm talking about Lamas there. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take Holloway on this one. I want to give Lamas here a chance of winning, of course, but you know, Holloway's on this long win streak, and you know what, I just think he can keep it going. You know, Lamas has been finished against, you know, Chad Mendes, so maybe there's a chance here for Holloway to finish him. If not, Holloway's gonna land a shit ton of volume. So you can see he has more than double the output of Lamas here, and his defense is good also. And takedown defense looks good on paper, but in case you guys don't know about this, his last loss against Conor McGregor, he got taken down 4 times, and that was Conor with the knee injury. But then again, he probably thought, you know, McGregor was going to stand with him. Maybe that's why his takedown offense was not as good. But then against Bermudez, that was a split decision loss, but he got taken down 4 times also in that fight. And Bermudez is kind of similar to Lamas, so I mean, you could see Lamas land some takedowns here on Holloway, and hopefully not repeated takedowns because I'm picking Holloway here. But there is a chance there's a chance here that Lamas could get a victory here with those takedowns. So something to note there, guys. But I'm taking Holloway here, and I think he's going to get either a late finish or decision win. I'm gonna go ahead and say here 3rd round knockout for Holloway. So Holloway 3rd round KO. That's my pick. Next fight, co-main event here, guys. We got a fight for a bout here for the 135 championship, obviously bantamweight title. We got Dominick Cruz against Urijah Faber. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. Opening up the pages right now. So here's Cruz's page. Obviously, Cruz is coming off that win against TJ Dillashaw, where he won his belt back. Now, this is kind of funny right here. Conditioning and punching power. Now, this guy does not have a shit ton of finishes, so I find that a little bit funny there, using punching power on there. Anyways, he won his last fight, obviously, against TJ Dillashaw by a split decision. Close fight, but he landed more takedowns, and according to the stats, landed 3 more strikes. And yeah, it looked like he pretty much evaded a shit ton of Dillashaw strikes. Anyway, he won that fight against Dillashaw, and then before that, he won against Mizugaki. Now we look at Faber here. Faber, I think, is coming off a win also. Yeah, he's coming off a win against Frankie Saenz, who's a decent fighter at 135, but he's not no Dominick Cruz. Anyways, Faber has not been looking too good, in his last few fights now. Against Rivera, it looked like Rivera was beating his ass till he got poked in the eye. Against Caceres, it looked like Caceres was also doing really good on the feet. And against Frankie Edgar, this guy got beat up against Frankie Edgar. I mean, if you look at the striking and the takedowns there, pretty much Edgar dominated that fight based on the stats there. Unanimous decision there. And then he got finished by Barao too, about 2 years ago in the first round. But yeah, he's been winning though, but he hasn't been looking super good. Faber's getting a little old here, guys. But the way I see this fight going is obviously, Cruz doesn't have so much finishes, so I want to say this guy's going to go the distance, but I think Cruz here might be able to get a finish on Faber, guys. I think he might be able to get a TKO, maybe like late in like the 4th or 5th round, maybe after a shit ton of counters and, just all that volume is, probably hurts Faber. But then again, it's just, Cruz just doesn't have that power. It's kind of risky about that. You know what? Let's just go ahead and say Cruz by decision, guys. So I'm going to pick Cruz here by decision, guys. I just think he's going to be the better fighter. Too elusive. I mean, look at the striking defense. Also has excellent takedowns. Faber, good takedown defense. He's also, good wrestler and whatnot. Has good takedowns of his own, but, it's hard to get Cruz down because of his footwork. And he also has good takedown defense himself. So, yeah, obviously I think here Cruz has the better striking, better boxing, better kicks. Yeah, I just say he's overall the better fighter here, guys. So I'm going with Cruz here, and I say he's gonna get this done, by decision, or it could even be a late finish, like I said. But not super likely. I'd say Cruz by decision. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next fight here. So we got the main event here, guys. We got Luke Rockhold against Michael Bisping, and this fight's obviously for the middleweight title. And yeah, these guys already fought before, and it wasn't too long ago. Let's go ahead and check out their pages. One thing to know here is Rockhold is a fucking finisher. Alright, so we got Rockhold here. Pretty much just describes him there pretty good. Kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. This guy is super well-rounded. Also huge for the weight class, 6'3", long as reach at 77 inches. This guy could easily fight at light heavyweight. As you can see, this guy's on a long win streak. His last loss was against Vitor Belfort, but then again, that was TRT Belfort, and that was in Brazil, and he got caught with a really clean kick. But before that, but after that, he's now been on a pretty much on a long win streak, and they've all been finishes. All his fights have been finishes, guys. All these fights right here, 1, 2, 3, that's 5 fights right there in a row, and all of them have been wins by finishes. And as you can see, they're mostly in the second round, but his last fight against Chris Weidman, obviously the former champion, god damn, look at all the strikes landed on that fight. Almost three times the output pretty much right there, it looks like. Pretty much it was a close fight, against Weidman, and then, Weidman threw that weird kick, and then, and then Weidman just ended up getting battered on the ground. And then, should have been stopped in that late third round, but, they let it go on to the next round, the fourth round. That's where Weidman gets taken out of the game, But Rockhold here, excellent kicks, and overall just a really well-rounded fighter. Now we look at Bisping's page here: stand-up, heart, adapts to any situation, and then fitness. Great cardio on this guy, good striking, good boxing, good kickboxing. So as you can see, this guy's coming off a win. He's also on a 3-fight win streak. His last loss coming to Luke. Now in that fight against Luke, he got caught with a submission after getting head kicked. So he was rocked, and then they go to the ground. Rockhold goes to finish, ends up getting a choke against Bisping, and ends up tapping him out. But now he's on this 3-fight win streak now, beating Seabay Holloway, who's a good top 15 middleweight, and then he beat Talis Lades, who's another one of those top 15 middleweights. And then he obviously coming off a win now against Anderson Silva, who is obviously one of the greatest of all time. So, he was able to beat him, pretty much just out-volume him, surviving that third round. And yeah, it was just, he also dropped, Silva there a couple times. Silva's chin's not the same, but still, he was able to beat Silva, which is, a good feather in his cap. So we look at the stats here, guys. Striking output goes to Bisping, accuracy goes to Rockhold, and striking defense goes to Bisping again. But he also absorbs a little bit more damage. So we look at the grappling stats here, takedown averages. According on paper here, Bisping's the better wrestler. Does utilize his wrestling more than Rockhold does. Takedown defense is a little bit worse than Rockhold. Submission average goes to Rockhold for sure. What else to look at in the stats? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so we got Rockhold here. Like I said, this guy's middleweight champion. Excellent kicks. He loves those body kicks, especially that left body kick. He likes that kick to the body. Likes those right hooks, the right hands, the straight left. Also has, like I said, the good wrestling and an excellent jiu-jitsu game. This guy's really good on the ground, and if he gets you on the ground in a bad position, this guy will finish you, or he'll just batter you on the ground just like he did a Weidman. So I mean, this guy's just really good on the ground, and hopefully the fight here does not end up on the ground, because Bisping could be in trouble here. So now about Bisping. So Bisping, like I said, good boxing, good kickboxing, has some good wrestling, excellent cardio. This guy never gets tired, has a shit ton of striking output. He's always throwing punches. I think he has the most significant strikes in the UFC. But yeah, this guy is all about volume. Doesn't have a shit ton of power, but if you look at his record, a lot of wins are by KO or TKO and whatnot. But in the UFC, he doesn't have a shit ton of finishes, recently. But I think his last finish was against Kung Lee, or who was it against? Yeah, recent finish was against Kung Lee. So yeah. Anyways, so on this fight, guys, I think this fight's gonna stay on the feet, unless one of them wants to take it to the ground. Now, if you guys watched the last fight, Bisping was actually not doing too bad in that first round against Rockhold, but as soon as he gets poked in the eye, the fight just changes, and Bisping starts taking lots of kicks and just didn't look like the same fighter like he did before the eye poke. I thought Bisping looked pretty good in that first round against Rockhold. kind of frustrating Rockhold, landing more than Rockhold, and I would give Bisping that first round. But yeah, pretty much Bisping was doing good, but he just ended up getting caught. And like I said, it wasn't an eye poke, guys. Sorry about that. It was a headbutt, and everybody keeps eye poking people, so I'm thinking about eye pokes and whatnot. Anyways, it was a headbutt, and yeah, pretty much the headbutt really hurt Bisping, and he never really looked the same after the headbutt. But yeah, anyways, so on this fight, Rockhold's obviously, it's been a couple fights since then, and he's looked, pretty much like a damn beast. He's been looking pretty unstoppable. I mean, this guy's the complete package. He's good everywhere, dangerous everywhere, good on the feet, good on the ground. I mean, it's hard to beat this guy right now. Bisping, he's also good on the feet. Maybe not as good on the ground, but he's not bad on the ground either. So on this fight, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take the underdog. I'm going with Michael Bisping. So Bisping's talking about this fight being winning the bouts is destiny and whatnot. Now I'm not picking him because of that. I'm picking him because I really think that he could actually beat Rockhold. I think this guy with his volume, like he did in that. If you look in the last fight, like I said, like in that first round, the volume, striking output, he was doing really good in that fight. And now, he's saying he's going to come out very aggressive and whatnot. And also, Rockhold's just very cocky. I don't think he's going to put Bisping away, especially in the round one. Like he was saying, like he was going to finish him in the first round by knockout or whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Bisping is coming in short notice, guys, which is why I think a lot of people are counting out Bisping. Let's go ahead and check out the odds here. Oh no, they're still pretty high. Negative 700 there for Rockhold. There's still high odds there, but and then Rockhold was saying supposedly he's injured or whatever, something MCL injury, something about his knee. Anyways, yeah, I think Bisping can get it done, guys. It's coming in short notice and whatnot, but he says he's feeling good and all this stuff. I believe it. So I think Bisping can get this done, guys. I don't know if he's gonna be able to finish Rockhold, but there is a chance. I mean, maybe he gets a TKO, maybe like in the late rounds if he's able to beat him up and whatnot. I remember watching the Chris Weidman and the Rockhold fight, and it seemed like Rockhold just didn't look super good, in that fight. But he was saying he had like a flu or something like that, or whatever he had. But yeah, I don't remember being too impressed in that fight. It seemed like both of them were fighting like really slow and whatnot. I'd have to watch it again, but yeah, I wasn't too impressed in that fight. Especially with Rockhold, I wasn't too impressed with him in that fight. I mean, he was able to get it done against Weidman, but Weidman's a lot slower than Bisping, and Bisping has better striking than Weidman. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Rockhold. This is not going to be a walk in the park. I mean, obviously Rockhold is the favorite for a reason. He could finish Bisping again, but I'm going with Bisping, guys. So yeah, I think he gets it done with the striking, and I'm just going to go ahead and say he wins either by decision or maybe a late finish, maybe like 5th round finish or something. But I'm going to go ahead and say official pick is Bisping by decision. Alright, guys, so those were my picks. Let's go ahead and recap here. I'm picking Poirier here to win by decision, and I'm picking Hendo to win by a 2nd round knockout, and I'm picking Holloway here to win I think I said 3rd round knockout or maybe a decision. Let's go ahead and just say 3rd round knockout here for Holloway, and then I got Cruz winning by decision and Bisping winning also by decision, guys. So those are my picks, guys. Like I said, I've already done videos on the Fox Sports 1 prelims and Fight Pass prelims, if you guys want to check those out. But yeah, guys, also if you guys want to join DraftKings, link is below. I'm going to go ahead and be doing my DraftKings lineup video after this video, so you guys can check that out also. So like I said, DraftKings link below if you guys want to try to make some money. If you guys are good with MMA picks, possibly make some money there. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed these videos, and yeah, can't wait for the fights. And I'll be doing a post-fight, review / results, post-fight analysis or whatever on the fights. Talk about the fights. So I'll be doing a video on that. And yeah, guys, catch you guys on the next video.